yes.
My God. Well, I've been honing my clairvoyant abilities. I just had some sort of like compunction that there might be somebody by the name of Pauline contacting us, this specifically assigned Zoom link.
Okay, so first of all, jumping as Pauline, first question, can you hear our audio okay?
Extremely well, yes.
Great, and we hear you as well too. Michael, do you think it sounds good to you?
It does. I'm going to pull the volume up just a little bit.
Great.
All right, give us a test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Perfect. I think
my God, that sounds great.
Just so you know, these podcasts run for 30 minutes. They're really fun, really simple and easy. I'll introduce you to the guests and we'll ask some kind of questions back and forth. Each week we kind of do a different topic. This week we're going to be discussing the art of cleaning, which is perfect because of what you do. So when you're ready, just let us know and we'll start recording, okay?
I was born ready.
You're
Good
born ready.
answer.
Oh my God, that's always my answer. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to start recording.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hourglass with Isabella. I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Michael Corvus.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
And today, a special guest, Pauline Irene Stacey. Pauline, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So as you guys know, listening in, each week we tackle a different topic, and we thought it might be fun for listeners to kind of engage in something a little bit different. We're going to be discussing the art of cleaning. And I know what you're thinking if you're listening. You're thinking, well, that just sounds incredibly boring. You know, who likes
Not
to clean?
To me.
I know I agree completely. But for some people listening out there, it's like, how does one tackle cleaning? Because a lot of times it feels like a chore, you know, but you kind of feel it's something obviously everybody needs to do because we like to keep our homes tidy and clean. But until very recently, and Pauline, you know about it, what is it, Marie Kondo?
Yeah, yes. Fine.
Yeah, she got very famous on doing a TV show dedicated to kind of the joy of decluttering.
Oh.
And so, Pauline, you yourself are an expert in this, which is why we've got you on the line here. You have written a book dedicated to this, haven't you?
Well, actually, the book is dedicated to cleaning. And let me clarify something very quickly right off the bat. There is a difference. If you look up the word cleaning, the definition, it says the act of making something clean. If you look up the definition of organize or organizing, it's the arranging of things into a structure. My book, it discusses a system that will make a huge difference in your life on a system and how to clean. One of the first things that I like to stress for everybody is that, again, these two topics, cleaning and organizing, and you just heard the definitions, are two totally different things. So my book is
great. See, I didn't know that until you taught me something new.
Yes, absolutely.
And I love both, and I wouldn't have put those in different categories.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm curious now.
And that
so tidying is more like organizing.
Exactly.
And cleaning is more like scrubbing method, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that is what, you know, you guys have just hit on the head on the nail as far as one of the reasons why people hate cleaning so much. In fact, the first 5 chapters of my book don't talk about how to clean. Are you curious to know what the first 5 chapters talk about?
Yes, do tell us.
Mentally preparing to clean?
Well, you're very, very close. Yes. It discusses the psychology and the science behind it all. So I go straight into chapter 1 is called Why Do We Hate Cleaning? So we go straight into the psychology of why we don't like cleaning. And one of the biggest things that everybody says is it takes so much time.
Yes.
So everybody close your eyes and imagine this scenario. Let's imagine that Saturday at 12 o'clock is the day you pick to do your weekly house cleaning, okay? And you start and you say, okay, I'm going to start in the kitchen. And you go in the kitchen. Remember, your eyes are closed now, and you're doing the dishes. You start to do the dishes. You see something on the counter that doesn't belong there. And you stop doing the dishes, and you pick that one little thing up, and you go, what the heck is this doing there? Oh, this belongs in the bathroom. Now you work clear across the house. You go into the bathroom, you open the drawer that it belongs in, and the drawer's a mess, and you start organizing the drawer. Then you walk back into the kitchen and you say, gee, cleaning takes so much time. And Pauline says, but you haven't cleaned. So
okay, so for people listening, okay, because that what you said, it's not that you've read the mind, it's the truth, because we were just cleaning earlier as the irony of this whole thing, and exactly what you stated is what happened. I started in the kitchen, I saw something out of place, put it in my living room, saw other things out of place in the living room, did all that, went back to unload the dishwasher, was already exhausted by that
you're out
point.
of energy at that point.
Yeah, and so what's your advice to people listening? Do you just tackle one thing at a time, or do you split them up, or?
So I have lots of advice, but as far as that part goes, what the book goes into when we talk about the first 5 chapters is definitely separating the chores, okay? So what happened is when I came about this system, first of all, the book was written 34 years ago.
Oh gosh!
Yes,
Whoa.
yes. I was.
Did you write it when you were an infant?
Thank you. I wrote it when my daughter was 5. I was a single mom. I was in school full time. I had no child support. My family lived in New England. I live in Florida. And so I had no family support either. So I had to figure out a way to make things happen quickly and fast, but efficiently, right? And so when I discovered this system, when I had a house cleaning business and put myself through school, I decided that, at the time I was taking management classes. And you know how when you're cleaning, you have a lot of, I call it empty brain space, where you're just kind of thinking all these random thoughts while you're cleaning.
Yes.
And
I know that all too well. Yeah, thank God for podcasts.
Right?
And earbuds.
Exactly. And so I was thinking about a class that we had that was like a management class, and it was studying this case where I believe it was like Ford Motor Company was doing this experiment, and they had this conveyor belt. And they said, if you put a part down the conveyor belt and you have one person do 3 or 4 things to the part, what would be the difference if just one person did one thing to the part and it went to the next person? Well, they found out if you just do one thing at a time, the system goes much, much, much quicker. The production is much faster.
Wow.
And I started thinking about, if we're cleaning and we just do cleaning, maybe that could be the thing too, because we are mixing up chores. That's the problem when we talk about we hate cleaning, right? It takes so much time. That's one of the biggest issues. So if we just focus on cleaning, so my advice to you, Isabella, the first question that you asked was, what's your suggestion? It's that if you want to organize before you clean, I have three options for you. The OCD people are not going to like this too much, but if you promise to try it, you're going to see it works, okay? One is, remember we're going to pick a random weekly house cleaning, because remember, No Time to Clean, Listen to Pauline, is a book about a weekly house cleaning system. So we're going to pick Saturday, 12 o'clock, okay? Saturday noon time. And so if you want to have the house organized before you clean, you can do that Friday night. You can do that, pick an hour or 2 Saturday morning before 12 o'clock, because we're no longer mixing chores. We're not doing dishes. We're not doing laundry. We're not organizing. We are cleaning. Remember, the definition of cleaning is the act of making something clean. So if you want to clean, that's all we're doing. So you can do one of those 2 things, or, you're going to love this one, you guys. Ready? Brace yourself. You can leave the junk where it is and clean around it. Now, I know there's a few people having a heart attack out there.
Yeah, I am. The one listening to that.
But trust me.
I most certainly am. Pauline, I got to tell you, I don't have OCD. I have CDO, which would be OCD if it were alphabetically correct.
That was good.
I thought you were going to tell me you were what's not alexic? What's the what's the thing when you say things backwards? Oh my God.
Oh, a dyslexic.
Dyslexic.
Yeah.
OCD and dyslexic. Well, no.
Yeah.
What happens?
Compulsive disorder.
So here's what I tell people, right? If you want to organize, remember now, from now on, anybody that hears this is going to remember these are 2 separate chores. So if you want to organize, that's fine, right? Organizing makes a lot of people feel better, because I'm like that. People say, oh, you must love house cleaning. Nope. You know what I like? The end result. But if things are in its place, even that makes you feel better, right? Because there are studies that have been done that's saying that cleaning and organizing reduces anxiety, depression. It's the Anxiety and Depression Association of America actually says that the physical activity of cleaning and the end result of having a clean house helps reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. Believe it or not. And it also helps reduce fatigue and improves concentration.
I believe that.
No, I fully. Pauline, may I ask you a question?
Please.
Are you familiar with the Myers-Briggs personality?
100%.
What's your MBTI, if you don't mind me asking?
I haven't seen that in so long. Isn't that a number that
So it's like ENFP, INTJ.
Yeah, it's like four letters that represent like one of the 16 personalities. It's basically astrology for nerds.
Yeah. What I remember from taking that, I was in college, was that I was placed in the top 4%. That's all I remember.
Yeah. Okay. So 4%. You're thinking INTJ, aren't you?
Probably.
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because INTJs are like notoriously very cleansing. They're very tidy. As you are, Michael is one. It's actually 2%. Makes up 2% of the population. Total.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
But going back to the concept of the system, having a weekly house cleaning system. The other thing that happens is, one of the reasons why people don't like it is it's overwhelming, right? If it's not something you do weekly, it becomes an overwhelming task. And so one of the things to help with that is to start with the weekly house cleaning system. So in my book, when we talk about the first 5 chapters, where we start, why do we hate? So we explore why people hate cleaning, and that's one of them, right? The time element. So now that we start learning, separate the organizing from the cleaning, and going back really quick, okay, to the idea of, work around it. Your option is to not clean. Just think about this. If you don't work around the piles of stuff, whatever, kids' toys on the floor, whatever. I tell people, you know what? The chances next week are going to be that pile's someplace else, so you'll get to clean that spot. So don't worry about it. For me, my mind says, I would rather have it clean and not worry about, I can't clean because it's not organized, and then it never gets done. Does that make sense?
Yes,
it does, and let me pose this question to you. All right, so given on any random Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day of the week you choose, would it be better for someone to float through their house, observe the things that are out of place, and like this belongs in this bedroom, this belongs in the kitchen, this belongs in the den, this belongs here. Get those constituent items in there. If you find some random paper towels, fast food containers, or whatever that doesn't belong there, you can quickly and efficiently go through your house and decide this needs to go into the garbage bin, and these things belong in this room, even if they're cluttered, even if they're not where they're supposed to be, even if they're not cleaned. Get them into the right rooms, and then on your designated day of cleaning, you go through and actually clean and organize within those individual rooms or sectioned out spaces.
Well, you just did that again. I'm sure it was unintentional. You used the word clean and organize together. And that's what
I
caught it.
I know, yeah. You were scowling at me.
I did.
I did that.
I didn't scowl. I just looked at you like I swear that.
Right. So my whole thing is like I get it into the right room, right? It's like even if it's like I just chuck it in there. It's like these socks belong in here, or this tablet belongs in here.
That's still a form of tidying there. But
would you
call
that tidying?
Yeah. So here's I suddenly realized something. So if you ever get an actual cleaning service, and you hire maids to come in and help, there's actually a difference. Like if you ask them to clean, they'll clean surfaces and stuff, but what they're not going to do for you, contrary to popular belief, is pick up your socks, pick up the kids' toys off the floor, and that's not their job. They're actually there to clean
the things that are there.
So the idea, what I think Pauline is trying to say is that you should, even if you're leaving the kids' toys on the floor and you're cleaning around, later you move those and you can still clean under it later.
Absolutely.
Versus tidying and getting out of energy because you've thrown all that stuff in the other room, and then you don't want to clean because so much energy, so much effort, right?
I get that. I understand that. There was a time many years ago, where I was living with another person, and they commented on the fact that, like, my God, I would have never thought about that. What, like, you just, like, blithely glide from one room to the other, and you pick up the salt container, and you pick up this thing, and you put it in the right room, and it's like, I would never. It's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna police up all these things, these 4 or 5 things that don't belong in this room.
But your things are incredibly tidy,
and
so you're consistently
and I will put it in the right room,
yeah.
even if I'm not cleaning
You know,
it. So.
you know what the beauty of that system is? Yeah,
What's that?
you know where your stuff is. You don't. I wasn't standing in the line when God was passing out all the different parts of our brains. I wasn't standing in the line of looking for stuff. Okay, I don't know. I like lose my mind when I have to look for stuff. So for me, putting things where they belong, because people will call that OCD. I'm like, no, it's not OCD. It's I can find it when I need it, because I'm too busy to waste 4 hours looking for a pencil or a hammer or the fork. You get what I'm saying?
Drives me nuts.
Exactly. Okay. So even in mine and Isabella's relationship, so she'll frequently come to me and say, "Have you seen
this?
You know where my purse is, or you know where my shoes are?"
Have you seen this pencil? And he'll be like, "It's in the counter on the kitchen on the left-hand side behind the kettle."
Right.
And I'll go in, and sure enough, it's there.
Yeah, because either I have observed that that's where it is, or I have moved it into its proper, at least domicile, if not clean.
I think it's like you also have a picture memory where you're able
Yeah.
to see things. Like, oh yeah, I know for a fact where this is. It's over here in this exact location.
You know, and going back to the cleaning thing, like according to the American Cleaning Institute, this stuff is staggering. 34% of Americans are concerned that they're not cleaning enough. 31% are concerned that they're not cleaning correctly. We're not talking about organizing, we're talking about cleaning. And you guys have to realize that so much came to surface when COVID hit, right? When we were all home, all together.
Yeah, extra, gotta clean, gotta
And
sanitize.
then we really had to clean, and that, you know, a lot of people say, well, you wrote a book 34 years ago and you just published it. You have to remember, 34 years ago, there was no self-help sections. That wasn't a thing. And so when I was trying to get my book published, it wasn't a novel. My book is a manual. No Time to Clean, listen to Pauline, is literally like a 40-page manual. That's including all the blank spots and all of the pictures and whatever, okay? And on how to clean. It goes exactly into the system. And in the book, and even there's a bonus in the book. It tells you to go to the website. And you can download, printer-friendly, so there's no pictures, just, you know, not using a lot of ink, the step-by-step instructions. So you can literally print them out, stick them in your bucket, and take them with you. And I guarantee you guys, no more than 3 times will you have to read those instructions, because it's so intuitive. When you start to read the system, you're going to be like hitting yourself in the forehead going, how did I never think of this? You know why? No one ever taught us how to clean. You didn't.
Who does teach that? It's not taught in
It's not a
schools.
thing.
Well, unless you're in Japan, in which case they're really good about their students cleaning. They don't have, like, you know, we have janitors and people to clean up in high schools. After every class, all the students, the people actually clean. I think it's such a good work ethic there, and it really helps out that team building thing. So, Pauline, my next question to you, very real quick, is that you wrote this book over 30 years ago, but when did you publish it? Was it more recently published?
Yes, COVID. When COVID came, you know how everybody had their COVID moment? You had to rethink your whole life.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
No,
Yeah. So
That's
I
a
was.
separate podcast. We'll have you back on. We'll have
I wanna
a
come
round
back on
table of
that.
like 12
Yes.
people to like talk about like how you rethought your
Exactly.
life.
And so
Yeah.
through a whole process of things that happened, when I had that one thought, that aha moment where like, okay, something has to change, right? So I got involved with this coaching group, and then you know how things work, right? It goes through one person and then another person, and I learned that there are today self-publishing companies. You co-publish your book now. You own all
I
the
didn't
rights
know
to
that.
it.
That's
I
cool.
know, it's amazing, Isabella. The company that I teamed up with is phenomenal. And it's called Hasmark Publishing. And one of the things I want to drop here really quick before I forget, because I always forget it, and it's one of the coolest things about my book, I am the 15th person in the world to have augmented reality in a book.
Okay, how so? Could be something-
AR.
Yeah, I know.
Pull it
Yeah.
from your phone and you can.
Yeah, exactly. You take your
Yeah.
phone and you put it on the marker. Now, what I want to preclude, to let everybody know ahead of time, this is, like everything in technology is kind of baby steps. So because this is brand spanking new, it's kind of limited. The videos are short, they're not long, but the idea is that it's being introduced. And so Hasmark was the first publishing company in the world. So it just happened, the timing that I teamed up with them. I am the 15th person, on the market that actually has AR in their
I'm
book.
so proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of that.
That's really cool.
That's great. There's so much to be said for that. Where this is where Google had their glasses and other platform things where they can, where you can be walking around Paris or Venice or New York or whatnot, and they can project like augmented reality. And it's like, by the way, did you ever know that this scene from Blade Runner was filmed right at this spot or whatever?
Yeah, it's like using the Oculus and stuff.
Right. Or
Google Glass,
different things that can like tie in directly to your published works.
Oh, that's very cool. So I have a question, another question.
Sure.
I've got all the questions.
She's got all the questions.
I have all the answers.
You've done this book at this point. Do you think that you'll publish anything else? Have you enjoyed this?
100%. 100%. When people will ask me, like, why did you finally publish the book? And of course, the end result was I found out that there's this publishing companies, and now you can co-publish, and it doesn't cost a gazillion dollars, and blah blah blah. But I realized that when I wrote the book, let me back up track. When I discovered this system, okay, and I guaranteed people, I don't care what size house, I want you guys to realize, I'm from Palm Beach County. I call them mansions. Right? They're not homes, they're mansions. There's a difference between a home and a mansion. But I've been able to clean those in 3 hours or less. That's why I guarantee everybody. And they're like, there's no way. I'm like, do the system. You will see. Because when I figured it out, you guys, the only thing I could think about was I have to tell the rest of the world about this. There's a lot of moms, single mom. I was single mom in school, no child support, blah, blah, blah. Had to work, had to go to school full time. You get what I'm saying? Like, I had to figure out, how can I do this? So I love helping people. And when I wrote the book and I finally decided to publish it, I never thought about myself. I never thought, I'm going to publish a book, I'm going to make $1 billion. That was never entered my mind. All it was about sharing. I have 2 other fabulous ideas that are secrets right now, that I know, again, just like this book would make a huge difference in your life. These other books, by the way, are much more targeted. When I was first introducing the idea, everybody says, well, what's your target audience? And I felt so lame saying, well, everybody, right? Sounds like such a cop-out answer, but it's cleaning. And unless you live in a cardboard box, you need to know how to do a weekly cleaning system. Exactly.
Yeah, it's relative to everyone. And so then the biggest question here is for people listening. So let's say they listen to this and they're like, my God, I actually do need some help with some cleaning stuff, and this sounds pretty exciting and I want to look into it, or intriguing rather. Where do they find your book? Where do we go to find it? If let's say we wanted to buy it, where does it exist in the world?
So
online?
It's everything, just like the book is very simple. It's PaulineIreneStacey.com. You can find out, that's the website address. Everything else you can find, same thing. If it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever, it's just my name. And the website is loaded with information. All the interviews that I've done.
And I will also, for people listening, I'll put a link below in the comment section on Spotify. That way, if you're interested in finding it, it'll be a little easier just to jump in there and see that. But yeah, no, honestly, I feel like it's like usually our topics are very like, we'll talk about esoteric or concept history.
Bigfoot, aliens,
everything you can imagine.
Egyptology.
Everything you can imagine, we've covered it. And I like doing this because it is such an eclectic podcast.
Well, it kind of appeals to me too, because I'm kind of like the,
you're such
cleaner in charge.
You're so neat and tidy. You really are.
I know.
Such a pleasure.
Pauline, going back even 20 years ago, I would have people come and visit my place and say, wow, this is like a serial killer clean level place. And it's like one of those things like, well, I hate that cleanliness is associated with that. I like to keep a tidy, organized place.
May I just say, it was such weird. When I got into a relationship with you, my last relationship was a little, let's say, chaotic in terms of tidying and cleaning. And coming into this relationship was such a pleasure because you're also a very clean person. So together, we're actually a team. We'll go back and forth, which makes, like you were talking about the Ford Motor thing, that experiment of breaking it down, having each person individual task. It really works. So you and I kind of break up our tasks.
We do.
Done in a whirlwind, and it's done. And it's so nice to have a partner who supports that, especially, say, a man who helps clean.
Absolutely. So imagine, you guys
pleasure,
imagine for the couples where, it's kind of like, I don't like putting anybody in a box. So a lot of people say, oh, it's, it's the housewife.
Love that.
Thank you.
The housewife has to be doing the cleaning. Like, it's not always like that. But whoever is kind of the unspoken person that's tasked with cleaning, you can imagine how they feel because, they feel guilty. If the house isn't clean, you think about the person that works 9 to 5. You remember the old days, we had to go out of the house and do what you had to do, and then you come home and you just want to
unwind. In the day.
Yeah, just unwind, have a glass of wine, a cup of tea, whatever, and just sit and watch a feel-good show for a half hour before you go. And you can't relax. Your brain is spinning, right? You're thinking all the time. I'm trying to teach people how to stop thinking about cleaning, because if it's done, you're not thinking about it. I call it the guilt-free zone. Yeah.
So very much. Pauline, I think you and I have like a pretty decent shared experience Venn diagram here. It's like I was a single father for a long time. I was a single father.
There you go.
Former military. When you say that, like most
people, did a lot of cleaning.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Most
and a lot of work.
Yeah, most people aren't taught about cleaning. It's like I get that, but like I'm a Gen Xer. I was like one of the last guys that actually got to enjoy home economics class, and I was one of the few people that enjoyed NBC, not the broadcasting company, but nuclear, biological, and chemical things. So it's like understanding how to put one thing in one box and one thing in the other, and concatenate or to quarantine things in their own spaces. So I had a very specific way I wanted to keep my house, a very specific way I wanted to have some cleanliness.
And you still do.
And I still do. And
but that doesn't mean you can't learn tips and tricks from
no, God, yeah, I'm open to everything.
But let me
it's like,
let me remind you guys too, because why this book is so unique, because I did research. I went to the brick and mortar bookstores back in the late 80s, early 90s to look and see if anything was written like this. Before I wrote the book, I didn't have time to reinvent the wheel. And there was nothing on the market about a house cleaning system. It was all tips and tricks and organizing.
Yeah.
And today, still, I found one book on Amazon. I've done a lot of research to see if anybody's done a weekly house cleaning system. And I found one book that uses the word system. And the book has, I forgot, 168 pages, okay? Remember how many pages I said my book is? It's less than 40 pages, okay? I call it a little cleaning manual, because who has time to read a book that's 168 pages to clean a house? Like, the whole point of my book is to save time, money, and energy and stress, right? So it's very simple. It gets straight to the core of it.
To the point.
Yeah.
So
do what you need to do.
Indeed. So without further ado, Pauline, thank you so much. We've reached the end of the time on this podcast, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us here tonight.
So much.
And do you have any last words, anything you'd like to put out there to the public?
Well, basically, it's, I would love to, I wish I had more time. I only have a few minutes to be with everybody. But, pick up the book, No Time to Clean, listen to Pauline. It makes a fantastic gift for pretty much everybody, right? Graduations, wedding, people that housewarming gifts, people that bought a new home. And you can find me at PaulineIreneStacey.com. And I hope everybody enjoys a clean home.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything.
Good night.
A pleasure.
And sleep time.
Recording stopped.
Great. Awesome. That was good.
That was
Pauline,
awesome.
we've stopped recording, but we're still communicating.
Yeah.
You there? Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I never leave until somebody hangs up on me.
That's the way.
Yeah, now bugger off. Yeah,
No,
no,
people forget. I hate that when I'm
Oh
on.
God, I hate that.
Yeah, when I'm a guest on other podcasts, and then it's like it just cuts and they just hang up. I'm like, okay, that's it, that's done. It's nice to have a
more
closeout.
things I wanted to talk about.
It's nice to have a closeout on the other end of it. Yeah, I think that went really well. We've actually,
it did.
We've got a whole queue of podcasts going on right now.
Pauline, what month were you born in?
November.
November. That's surprising. I thought you would have been like a Capricorn. Jesus Christ.
I think everybody's a Capricorn.
Well, no.
You're a Capricorn.
Well,
Well,
okay. I think everyone that is a neat freak is either a Capricorn or a Virgo or raised by a Virgo.
Well, I think because I was, I'm November 26th, so sometimes it falls on Thanksgiving, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm right on the cusp of the end of that, you know. But I gotta make something clear real quick, because people will say that because somebody wrote a book about cleaning, they just imagine that you're quote unquote a neat freak or OCD or whatever. And
Yeah.
I've had family members say, you know, I go visit them and I'll help them clean because I know how to do it. I know how to do it fast, and I know what the right products are, and blah blah blah. And so they've said, oh well, you know, we'll have a casual conversation, and they'll say, oh well, you like to clean. And I'm like, whoa, excuse me.
Nobody likes to clean.
I'm like, I would way rather sit down and kick my feet up and watch a movie or do whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a small business owner, so I don't get to watch TV. I just work like you know. But I tell them, it's not that I like cleaning. You guys, what I like is the end result, right?
Yeah.
The
That's
feeling
the
of
feel
it.
good moment.
Because it gives you a moment or an environment of peace.
Oh.
Like, rewind the clock. Okay, so you've met my son,
Yeah.
and like he's a brilliant software developer, far beyond my reach at this point. You know, we still talk every day, but like when he was a mere slip of a youth, he was like 6 years old. He went up with his mother to go stay at our friend's house. That was up in New York in like Woodside, right? And we drove all the way up there, and I was like, okay, so you're gonna live here for 6 weeks. And me and my friend, we completely cleaned this place out, just to make it like in in the mid '90s, early 2000s Woodside, New York. It was very much where like I'm going to put this place in right order the way I see it fit. And so our mutual friend had this space, and we got it top down, perfectly clean within about 6 hours.
Wow,
you know?
That's impressive.
And it was like, wow, okay, all right. So anyway, so I can
That's so
appreciate
cool.
cleaning.
Absolutely.
I can appreciate curating a good environment within which people can actually relax
Yes,
and
you
have
know, research,
better times.
They've done scientific research on this, and it's found that cleaning, the actual process of doing the cleaning, as well as the end result, has a number of positive effects on your mental health. It improves your mood, you know, and so they've done a lot of studies on that. Reduces anxiety, so it makes
Absolutely.
because
Well, when this podcast comes up, we'll let you know. We do have a queue of them sitting right now because we did
God,
a
we
bunch.
got about 4 in the can right now.
oh my god, okay, you
Five.
guys.
Five. I think it's five. So we're actually going to take some
It'll
time
probably
to
be
edit those.
about
Give it a
probably
few
be about
weeks.
a week and a half.
I'd
2
give
weeks.
it a few weeks realistically.
Yeah.
It'll be out.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a message, or we'll let Eileen know when it
Okay.
goes up.
Perfect.
'Cause then she can let you know. It's probably the
Perfect.
easiest. answer
Awesome.
there.
All right.
Yeah,
thank you
I
guys.
thought it went great, and I'll let you know how it's received.
Thank you so much. Okay, enjoy.
Thank you, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you so
Take care.
much.
Bye.
All right, take care. Bye bye.